I actually simplified the sign-up process where, as I said, there's a questionnaire that I have people fill out. I won't do the sessions without the questionnaire because why should I spend half hour of the time that we're spending asking them the details, the nitty-gritty details about their business? I'd rather have that in my hands, have studied it, and now I can focus on the things that really are going to make a difference for them and make that session valuable. So I've actually streamlined the process where I now have an online questionnaire, and when they complete that, it takes them right to Schedulicity, and they can book their own session in Schedulicity.
Okay. And there's some echo in there. I think you're too close to the computer, maybe, or...
I haven't moved.
Okay. Okay, hello? Yep, it's better now. Okay, of your services that you provide, what do you think would be the most beneficial to most massage therapists?
What I've done is I've actually, I've had classes, and they were okay, but they weren't personalized enough. And I found that the one-on-one interaction was real necessary. But I also recognize that most people are in a position where affordability is a problem. So I found the right balance between that. I've taken I have the books. Have you ever read Purple Cow by Seth Godin?
No, I haven't.
Well, the Purple Cow is something remarkable, and I put together a program that I consider remarkable because what I do is I combine a assessment of the levels of energy where somebody can is able to determine what your ideal self is and what the thoughts are that are blocking you from your ideal self. It's called the Energy Leadership Assessment. So I combine that assessment and the debrief of that assessment with 2 hours of training in marketing. So in the first week I work with them, there's 3 hours, the debrief plus the training in marketing. And in those 2 hours of training in marketing, I'm actually working with them and creating their marketing plan with 10 daily action steps. And then after that, we meet for the next 4 weeks, at the beginning of the week, tracking their progress with their business, and then doing life coaching around the blocks, the inner work that's keeping them from being able to move ahead with their business. And the final week, we meet twice so that we wrap it up, and they're able to now, with the training they've got in marketing, they're able to go out on their own. So the whole idea is to get people self-sufficient with their marketing and able to grow their business and now have the skills that they never had before in growing their businesses. So that, I think, is what's most appropriate for most massage therapists.
And why do you think you're doing all this then, too?
That's the big why.
Yeah.
I wrote a blog about the big why. And everybody should have a big why. The big why is it's not because I want to make people, why are you a massage therapist? Because I want to make people feel better. The big why is something bigger than that. Big why is something way outside where you are, where you can touch the most people. And my big why is that I feel that wellness versus, we live in a society that's all based on cure, not on wellness. It's based on curing instead of prevention. I believe in wellness. I believe that alternative health professionals, whether they're massage therapists, acupuncturists, people involved in integrative nutrition, they're the cure to the healthcare. And I also believe that a struggling alternative healthcare professional is not going to be able to make much of an impact. If they're worrying so much about being able to make their own bills, about their own needs, and if they're in survival mode, it's going to be very, very hard for them to go much beyond that. But if they're able to practice and not have to worry about surviving, that they're thriving, then they're in a place where they could touch a lot more lives. So I feel that by me enabling more massage therapists, more alternative healthcare professionals become successful, then they could touch more lives, and we can have an impact on healthcare in America. So I feel that I'm doing much more by helping others with their practices than I would if I were working on my practice alone or within my practice alone.
Well, that's a really good scenario. Yep. And what do you think is the most important thing that massage therapists need in order to grow their practices?
Confidence.
And pause. Yep. Just one word. That's all you need. Yep.
Think about it. If you have confidence, you're going to have the ability to pick up that phone. You're not going to be afraid to pick up that phone. If you have confidence, you can talk to people about what you do. If you have confidence, you're not going to be asking for permission to charge somebody for your services. I mean, I don't know how many therapists I've seen, they finished a session and they're almost asking for permission to charge the person for the massage that they just did. So, yeah, confidence.
Do you think therapists have a hard time asking the client to come back for another treatment?
And the successful therapist will have that calendar out. I'll give you an example. The way that I end my session. I go from my treatment room into my office. I sit down at my desk. They sit down across from my desk. I have their chart in front of me, and I have my calendar open in front of me. We finish up with the business. Most of my clients have purchased packages. And I say, okay, when are you scheduling your next session? And even the people that do, pay one at a time, there's the calendar. When do you want to book your next session? Not do you want to book your next session, because the answer is no. Where do you go from there? But when do you want to book your next session?
So you don't want...
What works for you?
Yeah, so you don't want them to have a yes or no answer kind of thing. So
absolutely.
So make them think about it a little bit. Yep. Who are some of your teachers that have most influenced you, would you say?
Well, I've mentioned Brian Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
He's one that I go back to over and over and over again.
Would you consider him a mentor then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And he's and this is an interesting thing about teachers. We don't have to have teachers that we were in their classroom with them. I like listening to motivational speakers. So I have a huge CD collection of different speakers, such as Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, and I listen to their recordings over and over again. But Brian Tracy has probably influenced me the most, because he's the one that taught me about the importance of goal setting and what a goal truly is. Most people don't have goals, they have wishes. And there's a huge difference between a goal and a wish. You could wish to have a bigger practice, but unless you have a plan in place, you're going to always be wishing to have a bigger practice. A goal is something that's very, very specific, something that you could picture, something that you could describe, and it's date sensitive.